what I want to do is go to some freaking desert country, some like just outside a reservation in like New Mexico, and then get in the middle of an angel war.
You just want to drink yourself to death out in the desert?
No, I want to get in the middle of an angel war.
You just want to be Eric Stoltz you are Eric Stoltz in the classroom, just laying around eating candy.
Oh no,
Mary.
What?
Can you keep a secret? The biggest secret ever.
Centuries ago, a second coming was foretold.
What did he say to you, Mary?
He asked if I could keep a secret.
What was that?
Something he gave me.
But what's coming
He wants something. Something that's here.
isn't what anyone expects.
Oh my God.
It's a war in heaven.
Over what?
Us. Humans.
Christopher Walken. The Prophecy.
Since we're talking about the prophecy, the angels, I mean, who's more famous than like an angel? Like they're in the Bible, and then you watch this movie and they're just like broke dudes
in
living
America.
they're living in shitty apartments. They don't even have they don't have anything going on. These guys are have been around for thousands of years before humans, and
yeah, no, they live in heaven.
They're broke. Not in the movie, not in the prophecy.
Because there's a war going on, huh? I just assumed they were coming down. They came down from heaven because the war is going on in heaven. And so they came down to retrieve the soul. So what is the plot of this movie?
The plot of this movie, which is so fucking dumb, and they don't tell you until
Thought it
they
was
don't tell you
cool.
until the last 15 minutes what's even happening. It's that Christopher Walken is playing Gabriel, the archangel. Archangel. And he wants to get in a battle with who? God?
Well,
other angels?
No, God is MIA, I think. He's MIA. Well, all we know, kind of not at the beginning, but pretty close to the beginning. In the first act, we find out that there's a second world war going on in heaven to claim the throne.
Angel war. So the first angel war was Lucifer.
Yeah, rebelling
and then being cast out.
The famous one.
So the second angel war, which
has been going on for centuries,
but Lucifer doesn't want it to happen because he's upset that then there'll become a second hell on earth, and he's like, there should only be one hell.
Yeah, because he's a king.
They don't explain any of this shit until the last 15 minutes, and by then the movie's so incredibly boring and so dull. I did not care. I didn't know what.
There really was a huge, probably 35-minute chunk in there that was just boring. Dialogue.
So this writer and director, this is his first time directing, but he wrote Highlander, that's
also kind of a boring movie too.
It's a boring action movie, and it's very similar because it's about an ancient race of
immortals,
Scottish magic people from the Highlands who are
they're
battling it out. They're battling it out in modern day America, but they're very similar in that they're he writes these very arrogant characters. They're very
yeah.
They're just oh, I'm so special. I'm an angel. I'm a Highlander. Oh, I've been around for thousands of years. And they look like homeless people. They look like junkies and winos.
I mean, you wouldn't care after that long.
Right, but see, the other thing they remind me of are vampires.
I love
Because-
vampires.
because like Christopher Walken even has a familiar. He has Adam Goldberg as like the guy who does his like tasks for him.
Yeah, he's a zombie, right?
He's like a zombie bitch, and he took over him. He like gained control of him right when he committed suicide.
Because he has to catch them right when they're
At the
dead, like
moment of death.
right at the moment of death, to turn him into a zombie, and then they
But what
slowly
did he
start
make-
rotting.
But what did he make him do? He just like crashed at his apartment. He didn't like do.
Was he staying there?
Yeah, he's like staying there, and he's like going through like evidence and clues on the floor of the apartment.
Well, I also don't get why he couldn't just kill himself again.
Well, I'm
It's
assuming
probably
that
part of the
I'm-
curse or whatever.
yeah, he's not allowed. But like, they don't have apartments. They don't have houses. Like the cool thing about vampires is that once
They
they're
got
around
castles, dude.
for hundreds of years, yeah, they have like fortunes. They have like ancient treasure that they're allowed, like they can use and live off of. They have old, they can be like old investors in like the American railroads or like any sort of century old company. They could have like amazing real estate. They could have,
Rothschilds,
they're
basically,
like-
are vampires.
yeah, there should be like old money, elite, rich shadow people. And these angels are just fucking,
Well, they're soldiers, is the thing. They're jugheads, essentially. Gabriel is just a lieutenant, or he's like a colonel in this angel military, and so it's not like he is.
right. Okay.
He-
so
he-
then, so the
they're
war,
just dummy. They're just like stupid.
yeah, but they're not even good at war because
Yeah. It's
so their
going
whole
on for
plan
so
is
long.
here's the plot of the movie, which is so incredibly dumb and confusing. They're looking for this colonel, okay, he was like Colonel Kurtz in Apocalypse Now. He's like,
He possesses the darkest soul.
yeah, he has the darkest soul of any colonel who's ever lived. Not Hitler, but this guy. And then Eric Stoltz, who plays Simon, he sucks his soul out at his funeral, and then he hides it in a little girl named Mary, who's like a Native American in like Arizona or something.
Yeah.
Christopher Walken's Gabriel, he's trying to find this guy's soul so he can turn him into an angel or turn him into a familiar so then he can lead an army.
Yeah, because he was like an amazing lieutenant or something, or he was a colonel.
But like
Colonel Hawthorne.
that's not what gives militaries that's not what gives them the advantage. It's all about technology and
I mean, you still need tactics.
weapon. Yeah, like heaven tactics. Like what?
Yeah, why don't you like? Yeah, I didn't know what they were gonna do with the soul.
They were gonna exactly. They were gonna, I guess, go to heaven and have a battle with other angels.
What they just have the soul? They're gonna put it in somebody?
And then the other thing is that Christopher Walken hates humans. He calls them
Yeah.
monkeys.
But he's gonna get one to run his army.
Yes.
I
'Cause
thought
he's-
also, side note, Christopher Walken was amazing in this movie.
He's good. He's he's the best thing about the movie, but I don't know if that means he's actually good.
Yeah, that's true.
But this was like peak. This is like not peak Christopher Walken, but this was like when he started. I guess King of New York is really peak Christopher Walken, and then this is kind of like him being the King of New York guy as an angel, but he's really just like a clever vampire.
Is he that clever?
And also, they don't do any cool angel shit. They don't have wings.
Yeah. Oh, yes, they do. They don't have wings, but they do some cool angel shit. They perch.
Yeah, they
Everywhere
perch.
they
It's
go.
so
they perch.
lame.
No, it's cool. The coolest perch was the first perch you see with Simon and the detective. Oh yeah, so it's about
He's on the back of a chair.
a
He's-
faithless pastor or a guy who's going to become a pastor, and then he changes his mind while getting inaugurated into pastorism or whatever they do, and then he becomes a detective.
It's Elias Koteas, and he's wearing the worst toupee of his career.
Is that what that is? Something was off with that.
Yeah, he's bald. He's in you might recognize him from Ninja Turtles. He plays Casey Jones.
He plays the Ninja Turtles?
He plays Casey Jones.
Oh.
And he's
What's his
he's
name?
in-
Or I'll just look at
He's
Casey.
in like Thin Red Line. He's in the David Cronenberg Crash movie. He's in a bunch of Canadian movies by this director, Adam. Is it Ajoyan? I never learned how to say his name. He's like an indie actor. I think he's on The Sopranos. He's in The Sopranos, wherein Christopher gets his intervention.
Okay. What's his name?
He's Elias Koteas. He's boring.
yeah, he is bald.
But he's normally a cool actor. This movie, he's just not cast. He's miscast.
Yeah, something was off about it.
Here's the thing that's really wrong with this movie is that there's no time constraint for any of the action, there's no suspense. There's no countdown clock. There's no inertia to it. It's just like, it just takes its time getting there. And it's also like, there's this problem in the 90s with horror movies where they just didn't even try to be scary.
Yeah, this was not a horror movie, was it?
It should be.
It could have been.
It's not suspenseful.
It's not an action. Is it a thriller or a mystery?
It's just
No,
like,
because the cop figures out what they're searching for and what the whole point is, because he gets a hold of a book right away.
the Bible.
No, it was a Yeah, it was a chapter that's not written in the Bible. So it was like it was like he subscribed to the right Patreon and got a little bonus episode out of the Bible.
This was my favorite scene in the movie, which is Eric Stoltz comes home and there's like this tough guy, angel guy.
Simon?
No,
Oh,
Simon
no.
is Eric Stoltz. So the tough guy,
okay.
he's like some general of the angel army.
He's under Gabriel.
And he is like waiting for him. And they get in a fight. And Eric Stoltz pushes him out the window. And he falls.
That was cool.
He falls in an alleyway and lands right in front of a car that's going like 80 miles an hour. Just driving down this alley. And then the car just keeps speeding and just goes right into a wall, crushing this guy. Killing him.
So they were just gonna, if nobody would have fell out a window, they were just gonna drive 80 miles an hour into this wall, apparently,
Also,
presumably.
He can't fly.
Well, no, he gets his
window.
net. I thought those practical effects were awesome because Simon smashes him. He jumps through a window, so the window's already broken, and then Simon smashes his neck, like stabs his neck through the broken glass. And there's a pretty cool visual of just like a iceberg of glass sticking out through this demon with no eyes, right? His eyes are like empty sockets.
Yeah, he has no eyes.
And it's just sticking through his neck, and then he throws him out the window. And then he lands and immediately stands up, and then the car hits him. And I thought that was all cool, visually speaking.
So
I mean, I kind of liked this movie.
I know you would like this movie because it's like a Vertigo comic or like Constantine.
That was it, exactly. Yeah.
It's like it's
that's
very
exactly what I was gonna say.
It's very late 80s, early 90s.
It'd be better to read as a graphic novel.
It's definitely like a post Hellraiser kind of thing. And also there's this German movie called Wings of Desire that was remade as City of Angels with Nicolas Cage about angels on Earth. And in that movie,
I think I just watched that with my dad on TV the other day.
They wear trench coats.
Oh, I thought it was the one where he wears a leather jacket.
They all wear trench coats in those movies.
What's the newer one with Nicolas Cage? Like, it's in the aughts. I could have swore he wore a trench coat, and then at the end, a badass car comes in. He's like, "Yeah."
The one where he drove the car to hell.
Yeah,
that's not the same movie.
Okay, but he plays a demon from hell. Oh, they play demons, and it's the guy from the car insurance. I'm Mr. Disaster or whatever.
Yeah, he's in Oz. That's like Dean Winters is his name. So the funniest thing about the prophecy, like, is all within around this. It's all like this section around this angel being killed because Elias Koteas, he's the homicide detective, former priest, and his the guy in charge of the morgue, the mortician, is Banya from Seinfeld.
Yeah. God.
Which is like the funniest casting in the whole movie.
I recognize that guy, but I didn't know who he was. I haven't seen Seinfeld.
Well, I think we could skip the cause of death.
Why don't we begin with his eyes? Your man has none.
But they worked in the radiator grill.
No, I mean, he never had any. No optical fibers, no muscle pores, a zip. He did a toxicology on his blood, looking for the usual, coke, booze, sugar.
So what'd you come up with?
High sodium, elevated erythrocytes, no floating cholesterol platelets, trace ammonia.
What's so unusual about that?
Nothing. Actually, it's pretty common for an aborted fetus.
Fetus.
We also did a bone section. Don't thank me. Wasn't much trouble. Most of them were sticking out of his chest anyway.
Okay, and?
When a baby grows, their bones get larger by having calcium layers form over the interior Habersham canals. Are you with me?
I'm with you.
Now, this leaves growth rings. Everybody's got them, except our pal here. Oh, and this is for you. He's also hermaphrodite. Oh! He's got both female sex organs.
Think of the possibilities.
Yeah, you can be impotent and frigid all at the same time. They don't normally work. We found this in the lining of his coat.
It's like this old Bible.
It's an old Bible.
Yeah. Handwritten. Beautiful, really. See this symbol? Matches a scar on his neck, exactly the same. That's attractive, huh?
Anything else?
It's a velvet bookmarker.
Cute.
What is it?
Ew. Hermaphrodite. Ew.
There. So Christopher Walken has
How
penis and a
professional is
vagina.
that, though? No,
Gotta-
because that's Ezeal, the angel Ezeal, who I think was literally like an aborted fetus. What is there was a time when I looked up. I think I'm talking out of my ass right now. The angel
Angel
Ezeal.
Yeah,
Hey, welcome to Angel Talk. But Ezeal was Ezeal, or however you say it. He has the weirdest name. It's like Easy
Easy
E was like Gabriel's little henchman. Now I'm spelling it all wrong. I don't even know. I'd have to look up. Oh, I could just IMDb the prophecy.
The character,
Yeah.
the prophecy. Yeah, I mean this movie has 3 sequels, and it's just
Yeah, I
completely
saw that.
unwarranted. So when this movie came out, it was such a bad time for horror movies. Like anytime, any horror movie back then I would get excited about. I mean, I was 12 years old, so this is all we had. And it's just this is so underwhelming. The things that make it really bad are the gore is weak. It's just very plain, boring gore.
No, he has no eye sockets.
The 90s were such a boring time. Like the mid 90s.
Oh, it's Ezeal.
It's just like it's all these guys with like goatees and long hair and trench coats, like smoking cigarettes, getting coffee, and just just being like, there's so many horror movies like this from this era that are just completely forgotten. Lord of Illusions is one. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't get why this movie was made. I mean, it doesn't really have any humor. It has a little bit of humor, but it just has
humor. But I would say the most humor is scenes like that, and then Walken, because Walken is just roasting every human. But then I truly don't understand why this movie needed to be made. Is it based on a comic book or something?
No, it's the original. This guy, he wrote Highlander in film school and he sold it. And then he sold, he was a firefighter and he wrote the screenplay for Backdraft. And then he wrote this movie. So he wrote like big movies that are original.
And this is considered a big movie.
I mean, it's not big, but like Backdraft was a huge movie in terms of budget and like.
Because this sounds cool. Like
it's like remembered.
If you sit down and write this movie, like if you sat down and like wrote out just like a 2-page, this is the movie, like this is what the movie's about, I'd be like, yo, that sound like if I was drinking with some dude and he's like, dude, I got this movie idea, and then he'd tell me it's like Christopher Walken as Gabriel the angel, and then it turns out, you know how we think of angels. Angels were like, oh, they're all holy and shit, and they come down and it's like they all help us, right? That's how you listen. That's how you think of angels. But imagine, dude, if they were just because think about it, God doesn't kill anybody. This is even straight up a monologue in the movie from Christopher Walken. He's like, God doesn't kill anybody. You know, he sends the angels to do it.
Wasn't this that TV show
murderers.
Angel on the CW?
That was a spinoff of Buffy.
Isn't this just Dogma?
Yes, but
Kevin
not
Smith's
good.
Dogma. It's like worse than Dogma. It's like less ambitious than Dogma.
Yes.
It's
there wasn't any action.
Well, here's what's going on. This is my theory. This guy shouldn't have directed the movie. I mean, he's good at he's good at directing the actors or like getting the right tone for the actors, you know, somewhat. I mean, Elias Koteas, I think his character is really boring. I wish Eric Stoltz didn't die. He was the most interesting character in the movie.
That was Simon.
Yeah. And
yeah,
but if a better director could have made
he open mouth kisses a child in this movie to get to transfer the soul, and I know it's
right.
Like,
that's bad directing.
It's a part of the plot, but it's like all I can think about is not that. Like it broke the fourth wall, and I'm like, this is a grown man literally putting his entire mouth over this like 8-year-old girl's face for a scene. Like, can you imagine that being like?
Well, she's getting paid, Ryan.
Well, but can you imagine thinking like this is going to be the movie? Like I'm so method or whatever. This is going to be my breakthrough. And then you go to the theater to watch the movie on the opening night.
No, it's a little kid. She's just
fuck?
happy. She's just like, Mommy and Daddy said I have to be in this movie so I can be famous. And then like Eric Stoltz is like, his cigarette breath and fucking nicotine gum. It's all up in your mouth, and he has his goatee. It's just like cutting your lips.
But I can imagine being like doing that for a movie that is like, you know, is going to like win an Oscar or like it's going to be a career breaking thing. But like if I saw that in a script, I'd be like, and then it's like some low budget movie. I'm like, no, I'm not going to kiss a freaking like I don't do feet stuff. I don't show my feet on camera.
There's no reason to show it. You could have done. He could just grab her and turn her, and then that's fine.
Exactly.
Imply it, but that's what I'm saying. It's like a better director could have made this movie better. Like a better director could have made scenes tenser, have way more suspense, have way more danger. Like it just needs that like constant push of danger and death.
There's even a continuity scene that my dad called out at the school when they're just like walking out, the detective and the teacher, and they're like walking out with she has the big bag of balls, like the volleyball, and it's recess or whatever, and she's throwing out, has this giant white sack, and she's throwing out all these balls to the kids, and then it cuts to a shot from the roof, and there's just no bag when they walk away.
Yeah, they might have cut a scene in between that.
Maybe.
But yeah, shit like that happens all the time. Yeah, I mean,
I didn't know. I thought it was going to be an action movie.
Because I thought it would have more cool, violent scenes like the one where the guy got knocked out the window and hit by the car.
Yeah, that's when I kind of got into it. When that scene happened, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be tight."
Because think about how dumb it is that Christopher Walken has these familiars that are just like losers.
Adam
First,
Goldberg was great though.
You know, he's basically playing his character from Dazed and Confused if he killed himself. But it's like, this guy's not tough.
That's what it is. This is a sequel to Dazed and Confused. That character's
Instead of dancing, he just ended up killing himself.
yeah.
Didn't work out. Like he should have gotten a cop. You know, like the cop would get you access to things. A cop would have he would have information. Like get someone useful instead of this fucking.
Well, the cops in this movie were
douche.
absolutely useless. The teacher calls and was like, "Hey, there's a freaking bum. I just caught one of my kids sitting on this bum's lap in the abandoned section of our school. Like, can you go check that out?" And now the girl is sick as hell, and I had to drive her home. And the cops are like, we got guys out on the highway. We'll come check it out tomorrow and shoo them off. It's like, what? I just told you there's
town.
Exactly. What's going on the highway?
But then
Drive back.
Elias Koteas drives like 9 hours. Completely out of his jurisdiction. Totally different state. Navajo or Native reservation. You have
Where
no
did they
jurisdiction.
start?
Well, it looked like LA. Let's just
Because
assume it's LA.
it's what is it? Chisel Rock? What do they call it?
I don't know.
Chisel Rock. Chiseled Rock? Also, zero nudity in this movie.
Zero. It's not just zero nudity, zero sex, like sexual tension. No lust. Like Elias Koteas and Virginia Madsen, that they should be getting it on, but they don't.
Well, when Lucifer came in, aka the King,
Viggo
the return of the King, he came in. There was some tension there with everybody. I thought he played a good Lucifer.
So that's
he was always whispering and shit.
I mean, he's a good actor, but that's he's acting like De Niro in Angel Heart, which you probably never saw.
I mean,
But,
they clearly filmed his part in a day. That was clearly a day shoot for him. And he came in and he did his whole, okay, I'm Lucifer, let's get into makeup, and then whisper, 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 and then was out. It was probably an easy paycheck for him.
before Lord of the Rings and like even G.I. Jane, he just was really he was a character
He
actor.
plays Jane in G.I. Jane? I thought that was a woman.
He plays her.
Dude, he's good.
No, he's her corporal or whatever, her sergeant. I don't know what the hell the Navy SEALs have, but like, yeah, he was a character actor, so he was good in these little character acting roles. But this is not. I don't know how good this is because the dialogue's lame. He's perching. I hate how
they're all. I loved how they perched. In the opening scene, dude, if I could perch like that.
Why would an angel perch? There's no.
Because they're like birds, dude. They got wings, so they gotta be like birds. Did you not see the scene?
Show me a painting.
Do you not remember the scene? You've never seen a bird perch? Did you not see the scene where in the desert, Christopher Walken's character, he was perching on the back of the car. And he was like in the middle of a monologue and he noticed some seeds scattered around the ground and he jumped down on the ground and started pecking at the seeds. And he ate them like a little baby chicken.
Well, he's a genius actor, but I'm just saying why, like, where does this idea come from? Because if you look at any like Renaissance painting or
it's a gargoyle perch too.
romantic painting, it's like
I'm gonna look up angels perching.
Don't perch.
They got wings, dude.
They perch on. Are there statues of them perching in like Rome or something?
Yeah, they're called gargoyles. No, this was a director's choice.
Is that from Wings of Desire also?
I mean, angels perch. the first 5 photos. The 5th one is Christopher Walken perching on the tombstone.
Yeah, and then Wings of Desire, they're not perching. He's just standing and looking down, or like he's sitting on statues.
Why would you perch? I would perch if you had wings. You land on the corner.
They don't have wings.
They do.
If you pretended,
They show it in the beginning. They show him having wings flying down. This is why I don't think they live on Earth, because they show the dude that gets hit by the Uziel, the dude that gets hit by the car. They show a little scene of him. It's a silhouette or like a shadow of him flying with wings and landing. And then he starts walking. And then he immediately is just walking.
His wings melt.
No, they fold him back. And then they also show the wings of Simon, I believe, and he puts a coat on and they like just magically fold back. Dude, they're angels. They're magic, dude. They just disappear. That's how everybody writes wings.
It didn't fit in the VFX budget. That's what's going on.
Well, yeah. So they just did a shadow or a silhouette.
And then when they die, they're like, when their bodies are burned, they have angels or have wings. They have like angel in the snow kind of silhouette.
It's beautiful.
Bone angels.
There was some pretty funny, the scene with Adam Goldberg when they're talking to the kids, and he just all of a sudden just like wipes a bunch of bloody snot out of his nose. Do you remember that scene? He's just like, "Bah," and he just blows it. I chuckled at that. That was a pretty good scene.
That was kind of funny
because he's slowly rotting. I guess
thought it was funnier before that because Christopher Walken is like
checking everything.
He's trying to figure out which little kid has the soul. So he's making them play his trumpet. And he's just this like random dude in this like elementary school. It's like, hey, I need you to blow in this magic trumpet.
And it blows all the glass out of the window?
Yes.
And then they just never use that trumpet again. Seems like a pretty good weapon you could use in a war.
He should be playing it, do a little solo.
And then he tries to give some girl gum, and he's just like, open wide, and he's just looking all up in her mouth.
Yeah, he puts like a breath mint in her mouth.
Why can't he just kill everybody? Because he's immortal. They're immortal unless their hearts get ripped out. And he's not a good person.
It's like they need this general, this like lame general guy.
Oh, I got a question about the general. Or he's a colonel.
It should have been the general from the auto insurance.
That's what I was going to ask, because it looked just like it.
It's just like CGI character.
I mean, the CGI was about on that par.
Yeah, I need insurance.
When Shaq is one of the angels. He's always in those commercials now.
True.
Do your general. Save on a turn to the dun dun dun. How does this song go?
The general, he kind of has like a who's that puppeteer? The ventriloquist.
Oh my God, which one? I love ventriloquist.
You know the Dunham? One of like this Dunham has that snooty man, like the angry guy is like the general. The general kind of has like kind of has that attitude.
Are you talking about in the movie or the car insurance guy?
The car insurance guy. He's kind of the car insurance guy is like no, I guess he's like Patton. He's like George C. Scott.
Yeah, I think that's what he's fashioned after. But why? Why is he a general selling us selling us any form of insurance? I would not trust a general of the army in full uniform. Can't even see his eyes.
He's a 5-star general. Okay, you better listen to him.
You know, the last time I was hanging out with my grandfather, who's like 85, 88, 84, 85, 87, I don't know. He's old asking, and like...
He's like, should I get the general auto insurance? This looks like really good auto insurance.
No, we watched that movie, that Patton movie. And that movie sucks. Have you seen it?
I haven't watched it in a long time.
It's actually pretty cool. It's actually pretty cool. There's a scene where they're like getting bombed or shot down by fighter jets, and he just jumps out. He just jumps out in the middle of the street and pulls out a handgun and shoots at him.
He's crazy. Like, right. The real guy is totally nuts.
Oh yeah. No. So the colonel in the movie, Hawthorne, I believe his name is.
He's out there. He's like a war criminal of like the.
He's worst. A Korean. Well, I mean,
it's like a Red China.
We don't have a good. It was the Korean War, and I believe it was the Korean War. Right?
It should have been the Korean War. It sounded
but
like
they mentioned China. Yeah, you ever kill China?
More of like
Chinaman there, or that's like, what I meant. The Vietnam War.
he was doing cannibalism. He's like crucifying people. He's like cutting up people. He's doing like crazy shit.
Yeah, and they found when the detective finds a box
In his house.
the colonel's house. There's like two skinned faces, but they
Yes.
looked just like. Were they his face or those were just people's faces?
I guess there are people's faces. See, I was thinking because then the whole plot is so mysterious. I was thinking maybe that's like, oh, the general wasn't the general. That's actually that's actually the devil.
Continue wearing different masks or whatever.
Yeah,
essentially.
but
that's
no,
what
it
I
should-
thought too.
But the general just has human faces in a box, and he also has a 8mm film reel that just is labeled evidence.
Yeah.
And then Elias Koteas watches that.
And then it just also happens to have a projector right there.
Yeah, he just sets up a projector.
And then the evidence is him getting court-martialed publicly.
Yes. It would have been funny if
So why was he getting such a good funeral? Isn't that pretty? Wouldn't you know, in a small town, if a famous war criminal general or colonel was court-martialed for war crimes in this small town where everybody
Of
knows
course, he'd be a
everybody,
hero.
wouldn't they know? In this small town that is mostly Native Americans, wouldn't they be like, hey, let's not give this guy an extremely honorary funeral? Like, fuck that guy.
Well, you know,
Nothing made sense about this movie. Like the angel
back
stuff
then
made
in
more
the
sense.
90s, they were into that. They're like, oh yeah, he's a cool colonel.
Yeah, he's got faces in a box in his room. Tight. And he didn't have any family. Poor guy, poor bastard. I don't understand the point of this movie. So then
It's about the. I mean, ultimately, it's just about the characters, and it's not really about. It has
It's like a
no,
blimp?
thrust.
like a blip in the radar of this heavenly war. Is that what it is? It's like a 3-day blip on this, just like a speed bump on this.
This is a very unambitious war. I mean, Christopher Walken and Adam Goldberg like attacking a 5-year-old.
yeah.
In a
So then
trailer.
so then the 5-year-old has a soul, and then she's becoming possessed by him. So then she.
Oh yeah.
Then she starts speaking as the freaking
she speaks like
racist murdering general.
Clint Eastwood and Gran Torino. She's just like a racist old man every now and then.
Yeah.
She talks about Red China. She's like, we gotta kill them damn Chinese.
She goes,
bastards."
you ever kill a Chinaman? They die different. Their hearts don't pump as much blood. Although it could have been the cold. I was like, yeah, probably was the cold.
This
Also,
guy
what?
doesn't sound like a good colonel.
This guy doesn't sound like somebody I want to buy insurance from, but I'll hear him out.
Christopher Walken's just like, we need a racist colonel.
Yeah, every war's been won by some racist white colonel from America. So that's where we're going to go.
Wars are decided by money, territory, technology.
Not in 95.
The only war where you need a really good general is a war of defense.
Dude, you don't even know what heaven is like. Okay, have you ever been?
I saw it in the movie. It looks like a CGI disaster. It looks like
Oh my god, that was the worst part. The freaking CGI.
It's like right out of Hideaway. It's like the same time period, and it's the same stupid shit of like heaven and hell. Like the 90s had so much lame it's like lame supernatural shit. They didn't make good ghost movies.
They had to have.
They were making like not really. They were making these like
we weren't making good ghost movies. There's got to be some good foreign films out there throughout the 90s.
Yes, a few, but like
for the budget we had, like Hollywood had, why were these movies so bad?
Because here's what happened is that horror movies were so maligned and so hated by the industry because of like the slasher boom, and they were just like independent movies, and theaters didn't want to play them.
They thought that they were too gimmicky or what?
they just thought they were so cheap and like
They're too scary, man. I get it.
they were considered
wanna
like
watch it.
borderline pornographic,
Yeah.
and
I mean, they are.
because it's just violence like sex, right? It's just like,
So-
oh, that's cheap. That's easy. You're gonna kill them. Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
But like, even John Carpenter's movies are kind of weak in the 90s. No one is really making their best horror movie. Like Wes Craven.
What
How
else
is
was
he-
going on though? There was like movie like VHS, was that transferring to
VHS.
DVD?
There was a lot of straight to video kind of stuff, but until Scream came along, when Scream made $100 million, then they were making movies like Scream, and then they were making then the formula became very like cemented, which is you get a bunch of TV actors and you make them for teenagers. Like they weren't making horror
Yeah.
movies for teenagers. Like this movie is not for teenagers. This is for nerds.
I don't know who it's for.
Well, it's like comic book nerds, like guys who would read Constantine or Sandman or something.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it for that
But there-
reason.
There's something like Poltergeist in the early 90s. There's nothing like big.
When did Mars Attacks come out? That was probably the
Well, yeah,
scariest
Tim
one I
Burton.
watched.
I was about to say Tim Burton. Yeah, Mars Attacks is 95. So like Tim Burton is.
I was
kinda
also scared of Nightmare Before Christmas, to be honest. I didn't
It's like
watch that movie because it freaked me out.
there was like scary fantasy stuff, but
I was
highest,
typing.
I'm looking up highest grossing 90s horror. So like, okay, Interview with the Vampire is 94. This is kind of like an Interview with
Is
the
that a
Vampire.
horror though? I thought that was
No.
like more of like a sensual movie. I've never seen it. Should I watch it? I love vampires. All right, what would you do? Vampire or werewolf? We're gonna have this conversation.
In real life? Like, would I want to be a vampire? or a
Well,
werewolf?
obviously not in real life.
or would
because-
I rather watch a movie of a vampire? Or whatever?
No, be one. What would you rather be?
Well, obviously, vampire is way more powerful. Werewolves are a curse. They don't have any control over it. Now, there is a form of vampire that is also a curse where they don't have any control over it.
And there is a form of werewolf that is not a curse, where
yeah,
they can
but like usually, but having to wait until one day of the month is kind of shitty.
Okay, you don't. You can transfer whenever you want. You can become a werewolf whenever you want.
Then you're like the Hulk or something.
But every time you transform into a werewolf, you have a huge little red rocket boner. Every
Yeah.
time you're in dog form, you just have a giant little skinny wiener, little red skinny wiener.
I was thinking it'd be cool if you could like transform into a werewolf and then like fly in a plane like as a
As a dog,
as a dog.
service animal.
You become a service animal. You
You
get like
just walk in
discounts.
with the service vest and you're like
You're
tipping
like-
your hat to
you're like-
everybody.
You're like you get out of the Uber, you're like, all right, bye, and then you just like like your back starts popping and like your shirt starts ripping.
It is the most graphic
Yeah.
transformation.
You're like screaming. Transform
then you
your
say-
fingers grow long.
And then you stand up after this brutal transformation and then put on your little yellow vest that says service animal, pick up your carry-on, and then you just walk into the airport, get your ticket. Nobody bats an eye.
That'd be cool.
I'd still go vampire. Vampire, you wouldn't need to fly.
Vampires have
Just imagine though, you're a werewolf and you can transform whenever you want, and you're like out for a jog, out for a walk. You're a few miles away from your house. You're in the middle of the jog, middle of the walk. You got to crap. You got to take a crap. All you got to do is just turn into a dog and then crap somewhere.
you can just shit.
You just crap.
You can do that.
You
just
poop
shit in the
anywhere,
bushes.
dude.
I gotta take a shit. You just turn into a werewolf.
It takes like 15 minutes to transform.
It's like all your clothes rip off.
Every tooth has to pop out into fangs. And then the shit takes like 5 seconds and then you have to transform back. Yeah, okay. I could see the appeal of werewolf. It's- what scares you?
In terms of movies, nothing.
Nothing.
What
You
I-
haven't
what-
found
what-
one
no,
movie
here's
that
the-
kind of spooked you.
Here's the thing. I don't really like. I don't get scared. What I like is suspense. So like, I like long, drawn out suspense sequences. So Brian De Palma, Hitchcock, Argento, like thrillers are what I really like. Like where they just like pull the tension and they just like keep escalating it more and more and more and more. You know, like in Carrie. Like, have you seen Carrie?
I mean, not in ages and probably only on TV.
Like when they're about to do the bucket of blood on her, it just
Yeah.
goes on and on and on. And like when you're just waiting for that bucket to fall, like time stands still, but then so much time is going by. It just is like, that's like the shit I like. Cause it's not like you're scared. You're just like, you're anticipating,
Yeah.
the audience is getting wound up. It's like, I like to be wound up.
Okay.
And that's the thing I wish that what was happening in this movie was some tension, because when Christopher Walken finally comes at the end in the big climax, Elias Koteas just pulls a chain in front of his car and crashes their car. And then Christopher Walken flies out.
Yeah.
And he's
I didn't
wrecked.
understand that trap.
And then he just gets shot by Virginia Madsen. And then Lucifer comes out of nowhere and rips his heart out.
And Lucifer this whole time has his own little homunculus or familiar
Yes.
or whatever that doesn't do anything.
Just
Interrupts the conversation with like grunts. And then
It's like
Lucifer's
he-
like, bruh, shut up, dude. I'm talking.
Lucifer eats a flower. It's very lame.
He peels every petal off of the flower and then eats the core.
It's gross. And then when the little girl, the natives are doing like a chant in a ceremony.
They're doing like a
like an exorcism. kind of thing.
exorcism. Yeah.
And then when the Colonel's soul comes out of her, it just looks like a complete piece of shit. It's like a puppet of fire. It's just like this weird glowing shitty thing that's like that shoots out of her mouth, and then like heaven opens up in the clouds, and then you see these like 4 silhouettes of angels really far away, and then that thing goes to hell. And then
What about the scene in the cave when you see all the angels
so they
impaled?
go- they're looking for Gabriel, and Virginia Madsen's like, "Oh, I saw his car over here by this cave." So they go in this cave.
It's a mine shaft, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like an old abandoned mine shaft, and there's like there's like sleeping bags with like a bunch of candy bars around, like junk food wrappers.
Yeah. What was who was in there?
I think that was Adam Goldberg
Oh, okay.
is eating that shit, and then they get this. They start seeing this like all the angels have like tattoos and symbols. So I guess Gabriel was painting his symbol everywhere, and then they
Yeah, he's just going around tagging, living in. Gabriel was basically these angels were living like how I was living my high school life, except I lived in a nicer house.
they all live in flop houses, and
They
they're
all
just,
live
like,
in.
they have like their shitty like, yo, this is my shitty logo. Like,
Yo,
check
I'm
it
gonna
out.
tag this.
Yo, that's like it's got 3 points because my mommy, my daddy, and my baby, yo.
I'm in the middle because I'm kind of the center of the family. My
And then
dad
it's
wasn't
just-
there so much.
Yeah, my dad, Jesus, he was never around, yo. So they're like their tag is just like a football logo. Like it's like a bad like Stussy logo almost. It's not even there's nothing iconic about it. It's just like a horrible
It's a Y with a center prong, basically.
yo, it's like a 3-pointed Y. Cause like
Yo.
why am I here, yo?
Just holding up threes. Yo, we come from the 302. 302 area code.
They're just tweakers.
They live in caves and eat junk food and
Just like we gotta win the battle, man. We gotta go to heaven. We gotta win the war, you know.
yo, see, and this is the battle that y'all aren't talking about. It's capitalism. God's up there, and he is just controlling us. And I'm like, I want a little bit of that. I want to be a part of the 1%. I'm down here living with this freaking junkie, tagging everything, hanging out with damn kids out in the desert.
Yeah, I got a pussy. I got a penis. I can't use them.
Half the time I'm either impotent and frigid at the same time.
Look at this. Look at my little penis. Look at that.
Where's
What is
little
up with
guy?
that?
Look at this. Tell me what's up with it, because my eyes have been ripped out of their sockets. I don't have eyes. I don't know what it looks like down there.
I asked God for some like Viagra. He told me to go fuck myself.
I said I could if I had some.
He just starts doing bad stand up. He's like, look at this. Look at my genitals. Have you ever
He's
seen that?
Flapping it around on stage.
Yeah. Audience
How many
is just going
pe-
crazy.
How many people in the world are hermaphrodites?
More than
I guess you
think,
get a
buddy.
pick. Yeah, you get a pick. They're born that way, and then you get a pick
They're intersex.
early on.
So they're like
I'd
Adam
keep
and
them
Eve.
both.
It's like when he made Adam and Eve, he's like, you know what? I'm gonna give her the pussy and him the penis.
But he didn't have any titties
That'd be cool if they just had like one tit.
in a thick ass, one
Yeah.
thick butt cheek, and
If Christopher Walken had tits, it'd be so cool.
well, I don't think all angels are hermaphrodites. I think it was just this one, and I think he sold his eyes for the vagina. When God was giving out powers, he was like, Lucifer, what do you want? And Lucifer's like, I want the power of like desire and to have people do whatever whim they want and enjoy themselves. Gabriel, what do you want? Perching. I want to be able to perch. Uziel, what do you want? Freaking take my eyes and give me a pussy, bitch.
It's so weird.
I thought it was pretty progressive for 95.
Yeah, Banya's like, you frigid and impotent.
What does the frigid part mean?
It means cold. That's like when women can't get horny.
Dry.
She's frigid, yo.
Yeah, I guess dry, and I guess
You just call
If
a
you're
chick
f-
dry. You're like, oh, bitch, you're dry.
no, if she's a frigid bitch, I feel like it's her heart is being frigid. Like she's got a cold heart and she's being rude. But if we're talking like actual genitalia, if she's not aroused, she's dry. And to get frigid, to have like I'm picture ice. So then what is ice? If not, it's water.
Right. I guess you're right. It's not like the pussy's cold.
So it should have been, yeah, if you want to be impotent and have a dry ass pussy.
And
Don't
they're just
tell
like, all right, we better keep this under wraps. This earth-changing information.
This giant fetus hermaphrodite. Man, I gave this movie a pretty good rating too. I was feeling it. I was watching it with my dad. What was
Very
the final
very
final
intriguing.
line? Did you look that up? The final monologue voices over?
No, I can't remember.
And that's just what like being human is. It's like, what? That is not what being human is.
This movie is just like, I think though, like, because the Weinstein brothers produced it, it's like they know how mediocre it is, but they just knew like, oh yeah, we could like people want to see angels, people want to see Christopher Walken as Gabriel like doing cool stuff. Like this movie is always at a video store, like it's always been on cable, it's just been playing for like 30 years,
Really?
and it's like it's so underwhelming.
There were some cool shots. Like there's some cool scenes. Maybe not scenes, but there's some cool shots. So I'm sure it's a pretty good trailer. Like I'm sure they got
Yes.
a pretty cool trailer.
Yeah. And there was that scene where he throws him out the window and gets hit by a car. It's like
That's where half the budget went.
that part's awesome, even though it's incredibly dumb. But like, I would have liked more action scenes like that, or more violence like that, more gore.
Yeah, there wasn't any. Literally, there was not any until the end. And what was that even? How did he die? I don't even remember how Christopher Walken died.
They rip his heart out.
Oh yeah, because the girl goes, who tells them they're not immortal. You can rip their heart out. That's
Well,
I think the girl.
Lucifer is the one who kills him, though.
Yeah.
And but he does get shot.
Well, I mean, he can't. What kind of action is Christopher Walken was like 52 when they filmed this movie. So what kind of action can he do?
I mean, that's why you have like if you had a cool Dave Bautista guy as the familiar ripping apart people, or like
and then who was the female? He got a second familiar. Who was that?
That's Amanda Plummer. That's the mom from Freeway who gets arrested in the beginning of the movie. She's in Pulp Fiction.
Oh yeah, she looked familiar.
So they say.
But she had no lines. She cried when she dies, and then he turns her into his little.
There's like three people from Pulp Fiction in this movie.
Christopher Walken,
Amanda Plummer, and Eric Stoltz. Eric Stoltz sells the heroin.
Oh. Well, I mean, it's so easy to make connections in movies because there's only so many celebrities of that caliber. They just keep getting recycled. The more movies you're in, the more movies you're going to be in. And it's like kind of a small community, especially in the 90s.
Well, it's even smaller because of the studios. There's like less.
Yeah, and this was Dimension.
Yeah, so it's the Weinstein brothers. So like it's less than 10 or 12 studios because they'll have different lines. Because like Dimension is this is like the trash horror genre shit that Miramax wouldn't put out, but it's the same. It's basically the same company as Miramax. So like Miramax would make movies with all these actors, but it would be like a prestige movie.
How much money did this movie make?
It's something like 18 million.
How much did it cost?
Like 11 or some shit.
Oh.
I think it did well in video and cable.
And it's probably residuals.
Yeah, so it just plays internationally. It plays. It has a lot of actors in it that you can sell. But yeah, pretty lame.
Wasn't even able to take that many notes. There wasn't much to note.
It didn't really have any drama either. Doesn't really have.
There was no drama, no romance, no suspense.
No
we already
emotion.
knew the plot. Like it really didn't. And I think this is a problem with human beings have with a lot of movies when you make them like Celestial and Alien and stuff. Like we're not going to relate. The war doesn't seem to really concern us, like Earth. Exactly. What would happen if Gabriel had won the war? Then heaven would be hell, and hell would also be hell, because Gabriel was basically a war criminal.
We're supposed to care that like he said all the souls haven't gone to heaven.
Oh, because there's a war going on.
Yeah. So
where do they go? Hell?
They're just in the dirt. They're in the body.
Tight.
But like,
are you kidding me? I need a good night's sleep. Purgatory sounds so much better than.
Well, it's not even purgatory. It's just like the soul.
Sleep, just darkness
in the corpse.
Yeah, that's fine.
Right. Who is the best actor in this movie? Who would you say is?
Well, Christopher Walken, easy.
Yeah, he's the best. And then I'd say Viggo Mortensen is kind of cool, but
yeah, it's hard to say that because he's in it for literally less than 2 minutes.
He makes a big impression.
Total. Yeah,
but he's.
I didn't know that. I didn't know he was gonna. Yeah, he was kind of a lame Lucifer because I really love Lucifer, and all like Satan's awesome, and usually he's portrayed pretty cool. And I did get a lot of Constantine vibes. Did Constantine came? He's devilishly charming. No, because usually like I think Satan likes humans to be.
Like a devil's advocate, he's like, I'm a fan of man.
Yeah, and I think he wants them to be evil so that they end up down in hell. But at the same time, it's like I don't know if he likes hell.
People.
He's also in hell, like that was his punishment for.
I don't
rebelling.
like hell.
He goes, I don't want to be here.
I used to be God's favorite.
But also the kind of the main plot of this movie was angels are jealous of humans because humans have souls and angels don't.
The other thing is that this cop and the teacher are just boring characters. They're just boring.
The cop sucked. The teacher, she was hot.
And I like Elias Koteas and I like Virginia Madsen, and they're just. He never got mad. He never felt anything strong. He never had any strong emotion.
He was pretty blank. Yeah.
He was like a dead.
And his jacket was too big.
His soul is
that's
dead.
the 90s. Maybe that's what they were going for.
Well, it's boring.
That's why was he the chosen one too?
You need a fucking like a real cop who just like, I gotta book the devil.
He didn't even drink.
You're busted, dude.
I don't want to watch a detective that isn't drunk.
Well, also like anybody who's like fighting devils and demons and angels has to be drunk a lot.
You got to, because you're like sanity is probably like what the
like Constantine is drunk.
Constantine is awesome.
You need like,
and that devil is awesome. Who's that actor? That guy is murdered Constantine's Satan.
I don't remember. I never finished that movie.
What? That movie's great.
It's got your buddy Keanu in it.
Yeah, anything. I watched Knock Knock. Ooh, that movie's great. Name a Keanu Reeves movie. Anyone.
Let me think. Babes in Toyland.
That movie fucking rules. That movie's great.
Drew Barrymore's in that also. That's like a.
I never got to
like an
attached
80s
to that.
movie.
I've never seen that movie, but I'm telling you right now, it's great. Keanu's in it.
Bill and Ted 3.
That movie's great.
I can't believe they made that.
Why? It's classic. Instant classic.
It's completely forgotten and just like embarrassing.
Well, yeah, the plot is all I heard was the plot, and then I was like,
fans. It's just a terrible fan service.
Well, I think it was probably just a hookup for his homie, that other guy that was in Bill and Ted.
No, he's successful. He's a director. Alex Winter.
Oh, okay. I didn't.
He's
know
like
that.
moved like on behind the scenes. Yep, I'm pretty disappointed with The Prophecy. I thought there'd be more fun shit to talk about, but really it was just Banya, and that kind of wasn't even that funny. It's just like, oh, Banya.
How would you have done it different? Same story. You got the same story. How would you have made it more interesting?
I mean, you need more money, but like they gotta fly. You need angels flying.
Yeah, there needs to be any sort of fight scene.
The CGI at this time is so bad, though. You can't really pull it off.
They did an okay job at the opening scene.
I would try to do what De Palma did. I would try to make scenes just have way more tension, way more suspense.
Why? Okay, we talked about the perching. Why were they sniffers? Why did they have such amazing sense of smell? They were just.
It's because there's no angel.
They were just sniffing.
There's no angel like lore to build up on. You know, like vampires have like garlic. They have holy water.
There's no angel lore. How old is the fucking Bible?
But not like.
And that's not even
the angels like
the
this.
American Bible isn't even the first Bible. We ripped that story off.
Okay, the American Bible.
The Mr. America's
King James.
Bible.
The American Bible is the Book of Mormon.
Hell yeah. There was not even a single Mormon in this. That's the number one thing.
I want to see that fucking dick and pussy action.
I want to see that magic undies.
I want to see him play that trumpet. Christopher Walken. Awooga. Awooga. Like, I want to see Rodney Dangerfield.
Was that your walking?
No, that's the sound of like
everybody apparently can
trumpet.
do a walking.
I want to see it'd be funny if like a really angry cop, like racist LA cop, was the lead character.
That would have been better. And only became racist after not becoming a pastor.
See, the other thing is like a lot of screenwriters would have made it like a guy, like a cop is just like, what is this shit? You know?
Yeah.
I haven't been in Catholic school since I was 9 years old. All right, lady. It'd be like James Caan, just like, what is this fucking Bible bullshit? I don't go to church. And he's like divorced, he's shrinking, he's smoking cigarettes. And then he has to like, no, you have to help the soul. He's like, I guess it's real. I got to do it.
Listen, lady, if the soul exists, it's rotten. Something he would say. He's lost all faith in humanity, and he's like, I don't believe in the faith of humanity, and you're asking me to believe in angels? Pff, forget about it.
You want me to arrest that guy? All right. You got to do me a favor first. All right. Why don't you show me those big fat tits of yours?
Let me see them titties, baby. I'm a drunk cop. he just shows up to every crime scene. He's like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm drunk. What are you talking about? Angels? He had no investment.
Even though he should have had a ton of investment because he was
he used to be, yeah. Well, and he had a
priest.
vision. And he had a vision when he was getting inaugurated or whatever it's called. And so that's why they chose him.
You know why I left the church? 2 Puerto Ricans stole the crucifix. And I was like, if I was a cop, I could arrest them. That's why I left the church. Would have been cool if Steven Seagal.
Yeah, I was going to say that sounds like Steven Seagal.
2 Puerto Ricans stole the crucifix.
He's walking in.
So I planted some evidence on them and got them arrested.
This little nasty ass ponytail.
Yeah.
It's the place where the ugly women work. Man,
yeah,
I cannot do impressions. Hi, I'm Steven Seagal.
Angels, like a bunch of homos. Come here, you fucker.
And then he's
just like shooting angels.
Not even. He's breaking their wrists and their joints and stuff, and just
he does
getting into hand-to-hand
a karate fight with Christopher Walken at the end.
Just manipulating wrist movement.
Who's another cool cop?
Hey, looks like you're gonna have a long flight back up to heaven. And he breaks the dude's back.
Shoots him in the head with a shotgun. Blows him off the cliff. It's like a car chase.
Let's see your halo sit on this. And then he blows the guy's head off with a freaking sawed off. That we already know he has because he practiced shooting it against some freaking raw meat. Big old slab of beef from that one movie he was in.
See, that movie moved, even though it was completely retarded.
This movie moved. It's not very far.
Prophecy is just like a slow drip.
And what's the prophecy?
It's the fucking prophecy, bro.
And how is there more? There's 3?
There's 3 more.
There's 4
because
total.
He comes back. Well, he probably comes back.
Yeah, I saw Christopher Walken was in the Prophecy 3 on the cover.
2 and 3, so he comes back. You know, I'm reincarnated.
Just give up. Oh Lord.
So, what would you say is the message of the movie?
I was thinking about this question while I was watching it, and like the biggest message is if you ever see anybody like perching anywhere, just go the other way.
Did they perch on the toilet? Is that how I would love to see Christopher Walken just
like a cat pooping on the
perching on the toilet, just shitting, and it's just like plopping. You're like, Adam Goldberg's like, oh, geez, come on, man, close the door. This is fucking gross. I don't want to see that.
Worst roommate ever.
Yeah. Come on, this is my house. You don't need to do that shit. I know I killed myself.
Do they even poop? Do angels poop?
I mean,
or pee? And if
they shit like bird
okay.
shit.
So
they shit like a bird. It's just like a white splattery.
So God made angels first, right?
Yes.
Starting with Lucifer.
He made the heavens.
And so do angels poop? Do they talk about it in the Bible? Do angels poop? I'm gonna need listeners to email. Do angels poop? And if so, why would you make that? And if they don't poop, why did this one angel have every single genital that exists? And
Well, they
also,
have-
do
Well, they have
angels
both genitals
procreate?
because he created man and woman later. So the angels are man
Why
and
did he
woman
create
together.
genitals to begin with?
So you could procreate.
Angels cannot procreate.
It's a good point. I think in Dogma they don't have dicks.
Yeah, they don't. They're like,
That's like
they don't-
Alan Rickman's like, I don't have a dick. Look at my flat crotch.
doesn't it? Don't they pull his pants down?
He pulls his pants down.
Yeah. Because why would you need one if you don't piss? And if you don't, are you looking up angels' dicks?
Remember Chris Rock's in that? Yeah,
Chris
Alan
Rock's
Rickman has
great.
They have wings in
Dogma is so much better. Well, Wings makes sense because they
No,
gotta
and,
fly.
and Dogma sucks, and it's so much better.
I like Dogma. I mean, I haven't seen it really as an adult.
The thing I also realized about this movie is like there's so many angel movies. Heaven Can Wait,
Michael.
It's a Wonderful Life, Michael, and I hate all of them. I hate angel movies.
Michael's good.
I never saw
John-
it, but I mean, come
John
on.
Travolta.
That looks fucking terrible.
It's
I hate
funny.
angels.
It's quirky.
I'm an angel on earth. What do you want from me?
What are you gonna do? Because we're God's
Well-
greatest creation.
Men.
Yeah, just men. Women are right. They're just a rib, if anything, but ribs are tight.
Just
How many ribs does the human have? 30 something? 20 something?
I mean, I'm not smart.
So a woman is just like 1/20th of a man.
You could have picked you should have picked like a baby toe, like really just laid it on.
Little baby pinky toe. Why do we have toes in general? Why don't we just have one big flat foot? None of this makes sense. I hate to say it because I'm sure half of our listeners are
Very religious.
extremely religious, but I'm gonna be honest. I don't think American God is real. American God's a fake.
Yeah, I don't know
I'm
what
going
the meaning of the
Team
meaning of this
AI.
movie is.
I don't think there is one.
Don't perch.
I think the point of the movie, or like the jerk off of the movie, is that men are better than angels and
More
demons.
flawed.
No, we're not. In this movie, in the prophecy, the angels
Here's
are
the
flawed.
message.
They've been going to war for thousands of years, and they have to we might be more flawed because the angels have to come to us to get one of us to run their army because we know war better.
The plot is so dumb, but like the big message, the big takeaway is don't hide a soul in a little girl's mouth because it's fucking gross to kiss a child. Just to make out with a little kid.
Even for acting, I don't think it's worth it. I don't think in the long run, I don't think it's worth it. Even if it's like wins every single award, every single Academy Award or
I'm just
acting
like, all
award.
right, Ryan, it's on the scene.
At the end of the day, it ain't worth it.
You're gonna get the soul out of the baby, and you're just
Okay.
gonna, you're just gonna put your mouth on.
Am I gonna like put my hand over her head or
you
something?
just put your mouth
Just
over the
suck it
baby's
out?
penis and just sort of
Okay.
suck on it. Just suck the soul out of the baby's penis. for a
Like,
good-
oh, you want me to over the
No,
pants, just kind of like an
no
open mouth,
diaper,
just
no.
like 6 inches away.
No, you're gonna suck that baby's dick, okay? Or you're not gonna be in the fucking movie.
Okay. All right.
'Cause that's-
Well, okay. Okay, but we haven't even got we're going to have to bring the stand-ins in to get, the shot set up first.
No stand-ins. No.
Well, okay.
Look, this version of the movie is only going to be shown in Japan. This isn't going to be shown in America. No one's going to know about this. Trust me.
It's not even going to be shown in America. Then I don't want to do it.
Oh, you're doing it.
Okay.
This is how it works.
And will you let me get Kraft from now on? Because I've been really hungry and you've been making me get my own food, all production. Okay, so how do you want? What's the angle here? Am I preserving this soul? My character is preserving this soul out of this baby dick, via mouth sucking to save humanity. You know what? I'll just feel it. I'll feel it out. Let's do it. Ah, okay. Let me get into character. I'll do it. Bring a little baby dick over here.
That's how they do it.
Is the
In Hollywood.
baby's mother on set? I just want consent.
This baby has no mother.
I guess
You know,
no harm, no
Jeffrey-
foul. Let's get
Jeffrey Epstein got us this baby. It's a clean baby. It's untraceable. There's no connections. No one will ever find out what this baby is. You just got to
Okay.
be a team player. Okay.
it. All right. I mean, y'all are paying me about $5,000 for this movie, so let's get it. I need that cash.
Okay. I haven't said action.
Yes.
I haven't said action.
I'm already in character. Let's go. Let's roll.
Ooh, I'm pumped. You're just getting pumped up.
Ayo. Just doing
All the
jaw
other actors are
exercises.
jealous. They're like, man, fucking Ryan's so lucky.
I fucking auditioned for that part. I was this close. I was this close to getting that part. I was about a baby dick's length away from getting that part. So close. So tiny.
And that's what they do in Hollywood. It sounds like a joke, but that's for real what it's like.
Yeah, it's an extremely pedophilic atmosphere. You know what else is?
People are like, you know, I have a kid. I would love to get a second read throw with my son. You can do whatever you want. You can
Imagine.
you can fuck him in the ass. I don't care. I mean, he wants.
Are we gonna
to
get
be
money?
fed.
I don't have to give him the money till he's 18, right? He'll probably kill himself by then anyway. So I
He
don't. I won't
loves-
need-
Acting. Trust me, he loves acting. He'll do it.
This baby loves acting. This baby cries all the time, and I'm like, I know you're acting, and so I just ignore him. I just leave him in his room and ignore him. He's good at acting. He cries all the time.
Eric Stoltz is just kissing this girl. He's like, yeah, can we get another one? Another girl? I just want to. I'm not vibing with this.
Imagine the
bitch.
audition. That's the
No.
scene that you have to read in the
I
audition.
mean, she's frigid. Okay, she's not giving me anything back. Like I'm
this bitch.
I'm
is
doing all the
frigid.
work here.
I feel like I'm sucking on a big ass ice cube. This bitch is frigid.
Can I get a, like a?
Yeah.
So-
have you ever auditioned for anything or tried to do any acting?
Yeah, I've auditioned for things like a couple of times, but not like only in really, really independent things. That I did, even those I didn't even get. Like auditioning in my friend's living room,
Oh, like people you knew.
but like I bombed terribly.
They're the worst. The closest thing to sucking a baby's dick. That I had to do was talking about a baby. It was a commercial for like some sort of dippers, some fast food dippers, and this couple is walking. It's like, oh shit, I don't like boneless chicken wings or something, dippers, and this family's on a walk, and this guy's eating wings while on a walk, and that would be me. And then my hand has a cup of ranch in one hand or whatever the sauce was, and then like the mozzarella stick or boneless wing or whatever it was in the other hand. And then we run into a couple we know in the park, and she has a baby on her little Bjorn. This is the commercial, and it's out there, and I have to like say hi to the baby, and so I set the dipping sauce on the baby's head, and then shake the hands of the mom, and then dip the sauce on top of the baby's head, and everyone's like, "What are you doing?" But
Man.
so that's the commercial, and I seen it. I did not get the part, but I got pretty close, and then I seen the commercial, and it's pretty funny. But in the audition, this woman brought twins. She had 2 twins, and she auditioned with like 15 of us. And then after a while, swapped out one of the babies. So I literally had to set a little ramekin on the top of a baby's head in the audition, and then pretend I was dipping out. It was empty, and pretend I was dipping out on it. And I was like, "You are not a good mother.
like,
You're letting all these strangers."
Go ahead, put it on the kid's head. He doesn't care. Just do it.
And the
Go
baby
ahead.
didn't care. The baby didn't know what the hell was going on.
He has no idea what's happening. You You could fucking do whatever
It
you
was
want.
the it was the weirdest thing.
You got the money. That kid's got the time. He'll do anything. All right.
And
That
then they were
kid
like, "You can
is a
improv."
performer.
She goes, "You can improv this one. Improv. He's good at improv." And this is an infant, not even a year. And the director's like, "Yeah, I guess do one how you want." And so I put
The other
it up
baby
there.
is just like on
I
his cell
slapped the
phone,
baby.
smoking a cigarette in the corner of the room, just like going through Tinder or some shit, just like texting, just like
Answers the phone. I got 4 more of these auditions.
yeah, I'm trying to get out of here.
I got
We're
a
on for
nipple to
later.
suck.
Yeah, we're having a big suck and fuck fest later. Come on over.
You know the place. Yeah, my bitch mom is making me do these rounds. It was the strangest thing ever.
So
So in the audition, when I got to do my improv scene, I spilled a little bit of the ranch intentionally as I was doing the dip on the baby's forehead, and then I leaned into the baby's forehead and I just
You
sucked
licked it off?
ranch. No, that baby had a hickey on his forehead. I sucked that ranch off,
it's pretty good improv.
and then it was great. Everyone was astounded. Everyone was silent, dead silent after I did that. So they were just like shook. They were like, this. And then they called and said, I do not have the part. And then I had to go talk to like a police officer after that and register for something for this. Like, I'm registered. So I had to like register for a thing. I didn't get what it was, but it's pretty cool. SAG-AFTRA or something.
Yeah, that's
Except I had to go.
fucked up.
I now have to go door to door to.
Is your
all
the
every
baby?
neighborhood.
The baby is the predator, if you ask me.
That baby, you should have seen his forehead. Asking for it.
All right, what rating would you give this movie?
I gave it a 4.
So high.
I gave it a 4. Let me
So
see. I gotta double
slow.
check. Maybe I didn't give it a 4.
I didn't rate it yet, but I mean, this is.
Let me check my letterbox.
I mean, it's like
I gave
I
it-
like
I gave
I
it
like
4,
the
man.
cast. I like these actors, but it is so boring.
I mean, I was so drunk by the end of it.
Like I watched this terrible movie last night, Surf 2, and there's no Surf 1. It's like an 80s
It just starts on the sequel.
sex comedy on the beach, and I gave that 3.5 stars. Like it was so entertaining. This movie, like I prefer real trash and real exploitation over something like this.
Yeah, I don't remember giving it a 4.
So this is like 1 star. It's not even funny.
I think I was really hanging on to that first scene where the guy gets hit by the car.
And a lot of people kind of like a lot of people like this movie, but I think out of all my friends, I've been giving this the lowest rating of any one of them.
I don't know. It felt weird not giving Christopher Walken 4 stars. And honestly, when Lucifer came in, I really like that guy. I don't even know his name. Return of the King.
Viggo Mortensen. I just gave it 1 star and wrote lame in a letterbox. So
I wrote
not good. I recommend
wrote 4 stars and I liked it. And I said the practical effects were very hot and neat, and there's a lot of cool angels perching on things in trench coats. That's all I need in a movie, to be honest. That opening perch, dude, that was cool.
You're just like freaked out. You and your dad are looking at him
I
like,
was
oh
like,
man, this is scary.
Whoa! We would go, whoa!
I guess the
And then we
90s,
high-fived
here's the
each
thing.
other.
The 90s were a simpler time, and they were
Yeah.
so
Pre 9/11.
they were so everything was so generic that like something like this could just be only slightly different and it would stick out.
Yeah.
And that was it. And people were happy. People were just like, oh boy, I'm going to Blockbuster. I'm gonna rent the Prophecy, and this
It's
is a
got-
spooky. This is a spooky.
What's his name on the
movie.
cover? Who isn't in it until like the second half?
Christopher Walken's in it. Viggo Mortensen's in it. This is a spooktacular little movie.
Is it pitched as a scary?
I mean, I don't know what it's not even. It doesn't even
Oh,
have
it's
a genre.
on ancient ground. At the edge of the world, an evil born in heaven is about to be unleashed on earth.
Right. Okay. So that makes it sound like The Omen, The
Mhm.
Exorcist, and it's nowhere even near close to the intensity of those movies.
It's nothing. 98 minutes. Wow, that's a lot of time I just spent watching that movie.
Just
People give it 3 stars overall.
people like it, but I was this movie was on cable all the time when I was a kid, and I would watch bits and pieces of it, and I always thought it was kind of boring, and it just doesn't
It's
really
very
deliver on the promise. And you could do a lot better.
It was definitely boring. And it wasn't like boring enough. I didn't write as many notes.
This is probably our worst podcast episode. This is boring.
I would agree.
There's nothing to talk about.
I got nothing to talk about.